Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of Why It's Awesome, the spoiler-free show where we attempt to take something often easily dismissed and explain why maybe you should give it a shot. The intention with this series is to help new fans find something they'll enjoy that initially they might have passed over, or so that people who are already fans can pass this video on to their friends to persuade them to give the subject in question a go. This week I'll be looking at Archer, which was requested over on Reddit and on our last video. Archer is a show that massively distracted me from my university work when I binge watched the first 5 series last year. Since then, I've been a big fan of the show and followed season 6 as it was released. It's currently gearing up for its 7th season to premiere sometime in 2016, so what better time than now to take a look at what makes this show so fantastic. However, before we get there, let's start, as we always do, with what could be some common reasons for dismissal. I know those who dislike the art style, some people would argue that the humour is too crude and offensive, and there are those that don't find the characters likeable enough to be able to enjoy the show. Now, obviously, like or dislike of this particular art style is 100% subjective. To me though, I really like it. I think it allows Archer to perfectly blend together the more outlandish cartoony elements the show has, whilst also allowing it to keep its live action inspirations, a la James Bond, close to its heart. It gives the show enough breathing room to be its own unique entity, while it draws story elements and ideas from numerous other sources. By putting a new spin on an old classic, Archer has managed to breathe fresh life into stories and a genre that has been around for decades, and I think the art style reflects that. So, for those of you not in the know, Archer is an animated spy comedy following the exploits of the employees of the International Secret Intelligence Service. In particular, main character, world-class master spy and colossal selfish asshole Sterling Archer. From that setup, your mind may immediately go to high-concept, world-traversing spy adventures, and for some of the show, you would be right. However, the central design of Archer, and what makes it so unique, is the idea that even an elite spy agency can be plagued by the same kind of human resource issues as any other workplace, and therein lies the comedic genius of Archer. Because Archer is a show based around an elite spy agency. It's just one that has that agency's accountant and human resources director be prominent recurring characters. So let's talk about Archer's sense of humour. I would describe it as wonderfully politically incorrect. It doesn't so much as cross the line as kick a puppy over it. So, to the people who do not enjoy this type of humour, I can see why you would label it as crude or offensive. To those of you who just do not like comedy that pushes the boundary of taste and common decency, this show probably isn't going to be for you. However, for those of you who do find humour in these taboo areas, then I feel as though I can safely say that Archer is one of the funniest shows out there. It is out of breath rewind the show because you've been laughing so much at one joke you've missed the next two. Hilarious. And I feel as though that is completely down to its no-hold-barred, offensive comedic nature. There's a theory that John Cleese has about offensive comedy, that it will always make you laugh more than normal comedy because there's an extra level of energy to the laugh that comes from a feeling of liberation to any anxiety you have being lifted, and I think this theory works very well when applied to Archer's sense of humour, because Archer knows exactly the type of show it is and it hits it perfectly. Most of the laughs that come from this show centre around the wildly dysfunctional relationships all the characters have with one another. So, to be on board with Archer, you have to enjoy seeing these characters all interact with each other, and that puts some people off. Because my description of Sterling Archer earlier was accurate. He is a self-centred asshole, and the rest of the cast aren't much better. These are objectively pretty terrible people, but they're also quite relatable human characters. Archer isn't a show that will be appreciated by everyone, but I feel as though some people wrongly dismiss the show as only jokes, because there are some real characters here. You're not going to find the depth of Breaking Bad, but under all the jokes and recurring gags, these characters are all very distinct with their own unique personalities and relationships, and that helps immensely in the enjoyment of the show. Because to me, the funniest type of humour is character based, and Archer has a roster of wildly diverse, deeply troubled, hilarious characters who it is an absolute joy to watch interact with one another. All in all, Archer is an incredibly sharp, quick-witted spy spoof that makes the absolute most of its premise by surrounding it with hilarious characters, engaging stories and brilliant animation. Do yourself a favour, step into the danger zone and check this one out. And that's a wrap for another episode. So what did you think? Did you enjoy this video? Let me know with a like, and if you'd like to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Is there something that you love that other people just don't seem to get that you might want me to look into and make a video about? Let me know in the comments. And do you guys like Archer? Do you dislike it? And why? What is it about the show that makes you feel that way? Leave a comment to start a discussion and let's talk about this. And as always guys, thanks for watching.